But the creed is eternal. Step out of the shadows. Wake up! The horizon, the dust never settles. A night in the chrome, ignore all the medals. They told us the way was lost in the last act. But look at the screen, this is a fucking blood pack. At Elfie base where the X-Wings roar. Colonel Ward's at the desk, preparing for war. Sigourney's calling, she's locking the target. Imperial scum, we're clearing the market. No more subverting, no more failure as themes. We're back in the mud, fulfilling the dreams. Do we run or do we fight? The dark saber's gone, but the spirit is bright. The child is wise and the father is steel. Tell me, galaxy, how does it feel? This is the way. Star Wars is back. This is the way. The chrome and the green, the clan of two attack. This is the way. Star Wars is back! Into the arena, the sense of the grime. A hut with the grudge, a priest of the slime. While the new republic wastes the goddamn time. Din's unmasked, the face of the man. Protecting the kid, that's the only plan. He'll live for centuries after I'm gone. So we're burning the dark to give him the dawn. No more excuses, no more delays. We're bringing the air out the cinematic haze. They try to tell you the Force was a fluke. They try to tell you, forget about Luke. But the armor is thick, and the bond is real. The galaxy recoils beneath the heel. Beneath the heel. Power. This is the way! Star Wars is back! This is the way! The roar and the greed! The clan of two attack! This is the way! Star Wars is back! The Empire fell! The warlords are next! Favreau and Filoni writing the text! This is the fucking one! Yeah. Star Wars is back. Star Wars is back! Yeah. Star Wars is back. Star Wars is back. The Empire. The Empire. Star Wars is back.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Sorry for the long song. It wasn't supposed to be that long, but you guys are gonna laugh at this. So as I was getting ready to go live and I'm, got the music playing and everything, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on camera tonight. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go on camera, and I'm gonna sit there and do it because I was like fucking with my lighting and everything else. And then like as soon as I turned everything on, my mount for my light fell off my desk and like my light itself almost fell on my new computer, which I just got set up. So I'm like, fuck, shit, fuck, ass, fuck, motherfuck, trying to get all that taken care of. So that's why it's a little bit on the late side. I apologize for all that shit. Let me take a look here at the it's too darn loud. That was good shit. It wasn't slot metal. Fuck you. You weren't even born in the 90s. I don't want to hear shit out of you. All right. If you weren't born in the 1990s, or at least, around that time, all right, get the fuck out there. Anyway, I liked it. This is like Rage Against the Machine. It's not the best track. There's other ones on there that are good. This one is just long. That's the problem. That track was a little longer, 6.5 minutes or somewhere around there. Not what I wanted. I wanted about 3, but I had to go with what I did. All right. It's too long is something I've never heard. Yeah, it's also too short is not something you've ever heard either, or is it in yet? But you will one day. And when you do, I hope you message me and you go like, they finally said it. I'm a man now. There you go. Slop was the most popular word of 2025, most likely, and it's a wasted word, to be fair. Absolutely garbage, wasted word by Luddites who don't know anything other than the sound of their own farts emitting from their anuses and the sounds of the sniff huffing from their mouth. Anyway, this is you hate Rage Against the Machine. This is nothing like it. That's not true. It actually was quite like it. I'm not saying that it was Rage, okay, but it was in the same. It was kind of like the funky. What? Shut the fuck up, yes, and shut the fuck up. I'm gonna be a bitch this evening. Anyway, what's up here? So, how is the new PC? I just got it set up. I like it. I don't have it. Windows 11 is interesting. It picked up my secondary monitor real quick. No issue with that. Everything is is running pretty well. It's quiet. The only thing I say I might need to find a way to turn this off is I don't quite like the RGB lights on the inside of the tower. You know what I mean? Like some people like that kind of aesthetic. I'm not that. I'm not the biggest on that, to be fair. It doesn't really do it for me, but my daughters seem to like it, so that's all right. Is it worth the $1,600 I spent on it? We will find the fuck out. We will find the fuck out. Let's see here. Remember to connect my old SSD to keep all of my files. Yeah, I was okay with getting rid of most of those files. A lot of that shit is just shit that's built up over years. I've already got off what I needed to get off. I already transferred the files that I needed to, because that wasn't on my SSD. That was on my 2 terabyte hard drive. Now, I was looking at like getting another hard drive for this because this thing only has a terabyte in it. I got it from Best Buy, Jess. And it was but like, yeah, people, I mean, the prices of the SSDs right now are definitely going up, and I'm gonna have to invest into another one here in a little bit. But for right now, this will last me for a while. This will last me for a while. Garrick here, asking, what do you think of the notion that Disney and Lucasfilm don't know how to market this movie and are setting it up for failure? I think those people are retarded. I do. I absolutely think that a lot of those people are, quite frankly, of diminished mental capacity. Like, if you go for a second, if you go back and look at the Super Bowl commercial from the other day, right? Everyone's out there going like, "Oh my god, it's so terrible. I don't understand it, you guys. Why is this, what were they doing? What is it that they're doing? Oh my goodness." Right? So they do that shit and they say that shit, and then people are like, "Yeah, I don't understand it, goddamn it, like, holy shit." And you're like, it's talking, it's an homage. It is honoring, the Clydesdale Budweiser commercials that came before it. And, um, like, it's really not that big of a deal. But what you've got is you've got all of these media illiterate, terminally online, morons, frankly, who don't understand history because they've never had, for one, and this isn't necessarily their fault, is that um they weren't raised on this kind of stuff, right? They weren't raised on the stuff that I think a lot of us that were older were raised on. And I don't know if this has to do with, like, they don't have a dad in their life to raise them on this kind of shit, or if it's just whatever, cultural or whatever. But there's a lot of things that, like, a lot of nostalgia they only know through their parents. And so, like, a lot of younger kids who didn't grow up with Star Wars, like, they're not gonna understand it like those of us who were living through the movies coming out, right? If you've only watched them on Disney Plus or Blu-ray or 4K or whatever, you're not gonna know, like, what it was like to watch them on celluloid. You're not gonna know what it's like to get the VHS, right? The THX VHS from back in the day and watch that shit, right? So, like, that level of nostalgia is gone on these people. And Campia Complains should be like the name of a show. And he says here, yeah, that Campia said that Disney wasted millions of dollars for a joke of a commercial instead of selling the movie. Everyone was talking about it for like a week after that shit, right? There was no other commercial that came out of the fucking Super Bowl that people were talking about more so than a 30-second TV spot honoring old Clydesdale Budweiser commercial. So it did its job. It got people talking, good, bad, or the other. It got people talking. And so them putting out this trailer now, some will make the argument that this was all done to be what's the word I want to use here? That it will be that it's damage control or something. And I'm like, this is a much better trailer than the first one they put out back in August. That first teaser back in August, I didn't think was very good. I didn't like the pacing of it. I didn't like the humor, didn't really nail me. The first time I saw it, I just didn't care for it. Now I saw it a few more times since then and I liked it, but back then I just didn't. Now there was the leaked stuff that came out of Star Wars Celebration, and that was good. Why they didn't just release that, I have no fucking idea. I'll never understand the entirety of the marketing decisions, from these companies in many ways. But this trailer was absolutely fine, you know. So, you remember your race car rewinder? Yo, yeah, yeah, mine too. I had the Mustang. Um, but anyway, for those of you who don't know what that is, back in the day when you had a VHS tape, you had to rewind it in order to go back to the beginning. And if you rented a lot of movies, sometimes they would fine you if you didn't do it yourself. So in order to protect your VCR, because a lot of rewinding can apparently make it go bad, people would sell these VHS tape rewinders. And you put the tape in and you push it down and it automatically rewinds the tape. That was how hardcore we were about that shit. I'm just saying. That is how hardcore we were. Anyway, they should have released a trailer from Star Wars Celebration the next day. Yeah, I agree with that. They didn't do this, but here's the thing. They didn't do that either for The Mandalorian, right? They didn't do that either. Now, that's entirely possible that they didn't want to do that based upon what happened with the Suicide Squad at Comic-Con 2015. Now, if you guys remember Comic-Con Suicide Squad, oh no, sorry, I think it was Suicide. Yeah, it was Suicide Squad 2015, I think, because they had David Ayer there promoting the movie. They had the first trailer for the film. I was in the room when they showed it. They put the trailer out there. People bootlegged it. It wasn't the quality was shit. And so Warner Brothers felt the need to put the full HD trailer out the next day. And I think it worked out really well. And I think they should have done that, because what you have is you've got everybody flocking to the internet trying to watch the bootlegged version of something. So like the lower quality version of it. And so then it's like you put out the HD version and now everyone's fucking happy. Okay. Back in 2012, before the Age of Ultron, or this might have been early 2011, or sorry, late 2011. I forget exactly. No, sorry, it would have been 2014 or 2015 for Age of Ultron. The trailer for Age of Ultron leaked online the day early. And that ended up being put out by Disney in high definition in order to make sure people could see it in the highest quality. And I do think that was done internally as a way to drop something online, get the buzz going. And then Disney's like, well, yeah, we're just going to react and we're just going to go and put it out there. And that's a lot of what happens in these particular situations. Everything you see on social media that's put out by a major company is never done by accident. So if Disney has been marketing The Mandalorian to people that normally would not go see The Mandalorian, then what they're doing is fine. Okay. But what people, I guess, like maybe like me or like some of you want is they want people, they want to be marketed to directly. And I do believe that should be the case, because watching the trailer today, and we will watch the trailer today, watching the trailer today, one of the key things you have to remember about it is that it more or less requires you to know what's going on, to understand a little bit of what's going on in that trailer. You've got to know what Rebels is. You've got to know the Book of Boba Fett. You've got to know the Mandalorian. You've got to know the Clone Wars. Like, you've got to know all of these shows that Dave Filoni has been behind to truly understand. You got to know Ahsoka as well, probably because that's going to tie in with it too. And so there's a fair amount of things that are going to be going on in that movie that are going to have a lot of in-depth lore connections. And I said this on Twitter and I stand by this. Disney, and this is really every fucking IP needs to lean heavily into lore. Lean into it, because you need to create that fucking homework. All right. And the reason why you need to create that homework is because then the audience can watch it and get the payoff. That's one of the key reasons why the MCU was as successful as it was. People did the fucking homework, and then there was the payoff, and they felt that their time wasn't wasted. A lot of times when you have these movies doing these post-credit scenes or these teases for sequels or these announcements for sequels, and then those things never come to fruition, the audience feels cheated. In the case of Marvel, they got a little bit diluted with the movies and the TV shows, but they should have leaned heavily into all of that. More so, they should have doubled down on it rather than trying to find ways to scale it back. Because the people that made the Infinity Saga as popular as it was, as profitable as it was, as well regarded as it was, are the people that did the homework, right? They're the people that did the homework. Now, probably one of the biggest problems that Marvel had following Endgame is that they didn't have any A-listers to really play with anymore, right? So they're building up new people from scratch. They're building up these new characters, to kind of put them in that particular position. And I don't think necessarily anybody really wanted that 100%. They wanted to kind of go back to the heroes, which is why having them take this long to bring the X-Men into play is definitely something that's going to hurt them. I mean, just look at how well Deadpool and Wolverine did when that came out goddamn near 2 years ago, which is weird to think about. But that was 2 years ago, and that movie was an instant fucking success and one of the highest grossing films of all time, despite the fact that Deadpool would never make that amount of money on its own, but you include Wolverine, especially Hugh Jackman, and a great performance, by the way, so you're able to get that, right? And the lore, even though he's not that, Wolverine from those movies, you can still almost to some extent, like, see that and see the nostalgia on that. And so I feel like, again, even like Spider-Man No Way Home, having Toby, having Andrew, having those particular storylines, Andrew specifically, getting that, getting the chance to correct the mistake that, with what happened with Gwen Stacy in Amazing Spider-Man 2, getting the opportunity to heal from that was a really big and really insane cathartic, a really great way for catharsis for the character. And so that is kind of one of those things where it's like, again, that's a lore heavy, a lore thing, right? It's coming in from another movie, another character, another universe, and they're giving it closure. Having talking about, like, Toby and MJ still being together, that's closure for those characters as well, given everything they went through in their trilogy. So we can see that when you lean heavily into it and you give the fans the closure, they actually really, really, really respond well. And sometimes you can just rely on pure nostalgia, and Deadpool and Wolverine did absolutely do that. But I think also just the love for Hugh Jackman in that role, despite the fact that Logan was such a well done movie and such a great send off for that character that brought grown ass men to tears. They were able to find a way to revive it. And I feel like this is what Marvel should do. This is what Star Wars should do. Star Wars tried doing this back in 2014 when they canceled the EU and they decided to make, their new canon, and that's going to be what they wanted. Then they were like, okay, well, let's find a way to try to bring in the rest of the world into Star Wars, those, like, especially people in countries like China and Japan that don't necessarily have that much of a storied history with Star Wars. Like, they know about it, but it's not something that's part of their cultural zeitgeist. And because it's not part of their cultural zeitgeist, they have a long way to go to try to penetrate that in order to make it something that those people get into, which is why the High Republic was born. The High Republic was an entire publishing initiative designed to try to bring in people from China and Japan. I'm not even kidding you. To bring in those people in order to get them to become Star Wars fans, because a lot of those guys are like voracious book readers. And so those guys will read the books and then they will go and they'll see the movies, or they'll want to see more that is going to lead up to the prequel trilogy, which would then allow them to watch the movies and have a resurgence of Star Wars, or really even what you might call like a Star Wars awakening happening initially, because that's part of the big problem of it, right? Is they never really had the Star Wars awakening over there. They never really had all of that, like I said, cultural zeitgeist. And so Disney really wanted to find a way to make that work, and they did. They actually, in 2019, in the lead up. This is true. In the lead up to the Rise of Skywalker, they started publishing a bunch of ebooks, a bunch of the old, I believe, not the legends, right? Not the EU, but books that they had already written that were in the new Star Wars lore, that those were published for free in China as a way to get people in the door to read. Because if I recall correctly, at the time, there was roughly around 463 million ebook readers per month in China. Ebook readers per month. 460 some odd million people, over the completely more so than the US population, are people who read books every single month. And so they wanted to tap into that hardcore. They even hired a Chinese blogger to write a Chinese inspired Star Wars story. That was the guy's name was called like Your Majesty the King, I think. And I don't know what really came from that. I don't think the initiative worked out really well. And I don't think that the High Republic has been as big of a hit as they wanted it to be. They tried with the Acolyte to kind of set it in that time period, as a way to kind of showcase that to the normies. But they simply had an uphill battle, and it just ended up, being kind of not great, and it was canceled, unfortunately. So you've got that, right? Then you had Skeleton Crew. That's also at this point, I think, pretty much dead on arrival for a second season. The fact those shows haven't been pulled off of Disney Plus yet as a cost saving measure is kind of beyond me, but that might work out. I do agree that Star Wars Vision, I think, helped bring it into Japan, or at least get the anime watchers who like anime maybe in the Star Wars. Because I'll admit the I've only seen the first Visions season, but it was really good and I really enjoyed it. And I feel like, if you want to tap into the market of where the youth is, even though I don't necessarily believe that they should focus on that market. But if you want to tap into that market, you tap in through manga and anime. And and that's what Disney needs to do. More or less, I hate to say it to you, I hate to say it like this in general. The people who aren't like gonna be involved in the fandom of shit, like just fuck them, right? Like fuck them. Go find don't cater to people like, well, this is gonna sound kinda all over the place, and I'll admit, but, like, the other day, uh, DJ Arik, and I think I played this on stream, Arik Debunks was talking about, like, don't cater to the boomers, right? Like, you're not bringing in new people, and I disagree with that because my argument is those people are the ambassadors. Those people are the ones who will open the door for other people to share in their passion, rather than trying to bring in younger people, who may or may not take to the product, and you run the risk of alienating the older people that will spend the fucking money. But again, I cannot iterate this enough. You have to focus on the original trilogy, not the prequels, not the fucking sequels, not it has to be the original trilogy. Where Mandalorian is 5 years after that, that's okay because that's in a very quick time frame after the events of Return of the Jedi. But the reason why you have to focus on the original trilogy is because, and I keep saying this and I keep getting proven right time and time again, is that the people who grew up with this shit, that is their childhood. They want to experience their childhood again as adults, which means you give them stories, you put those characters together, you do all of that shit, and they will come a running because that's what they want. And the fact that Disney has ignored this now for years is truly and utterly beyond me. That is, unless they did not want to pay the money that Mark Hamill and like Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford and Anthony Daniels and Peter Mayhew would have wanted to license all of that shit. Maybe even like Lando. You know, they want in many ways, they did not want to probably like deal with that. They're like, well, let's create our own Star Wars, blackjack and hookers. And then we'll get people to come over to that. But that's not how nostalgia works, right? What does Chris say when he's here? Nostalgia is the greatest opioid. And he's fucking right. He's absolutely right. Chris is a smart guy. He's always good to talk to, but he's entirely correct. And the Mandalorian and Grogu is tying into that nostalgia. That is something that I think will very much tie into the older boomer, not boomer, but Gen X and elder millennial mindset. I think that's going to be pretty big. Obviously, we don't know every surprise that's in the movie, but I think we're going to get some surprises. Um, let's see here. Star Wars never took off in Japan because they created their own Star Wars in like 1979. It's called Gundam. It's basically Star Wars in mobile suits. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with Gundam. That definitely makes sense if what you're saying is accurate, and I don't disagree with you at all, Otis. So thank you very much for the $5. But I do feel that it's like it's harder for them, because Star Wars needs to be a global thing, right? And like, why not tap into China with its 1.4 or 1.6 billion people? Why not try to tap into India with its 1.5 billion people? But the key problem about all this stuff is just it has everything to do with the fact that it is difficult, to breach into those worlds, especially now. And so that's what they want to do. I don't think they need to do that. I don't think Star Wars is ever going to be like as big as The Force Awakens ever again, and that's entirely fine. It's kind of like Avatar will never be as big as Avatar is. And it's also entirely possible that Avengers Doomsday and Secret War won't be as big as Avengers Endgame, and I only say that not because I don't think it's gonna make a lot of money, because I think that it will, but I think in many ways, the audiences are gonna kind of be like, "Well, we've already seen that." Again, like having all your toys smashed together. We've already seen that. We need to build up to something new. Which is why I think that the big push will probably be X-Men with Marvel, and then that's gonna, do whatever. Google RX-78, you see a robot gun and a saber? Oh, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Is there such a thing as too much nostalgia, or does it have to be done correctly? I do think there is such a thing as too much nostalgia. And I also do think that in many ways, some franchises probably need to be put out to pasture. And I mean that like indefinitely. If I had to pick a franchise to be put out to pasture, it would be Star Trek. I think Star Trek has, in many ways, completely outlived its usefulness. I think it doesn't know what it is anymore. I don't think it knows what it even though we're in, like, this age of science and expansion in our own worlds, Star Trek is still very much stuck in the phase of trying to appeal, um, to a very specific demographic. All right. And I don't have an issue with Star Trek appealing to everybody because it's always been like that, right? It's been a very left-wing, socialist friendly show. I mean, my favorite thing about the chuds that love Star Trek is that I'm like, you guys realize that Gene Roddenberry would be like, he'd be like if he was alive today, he'd be a blue-haired lefty. Like that's who he'd be. He'd be out there screaming about Trump and the fucking patriarchy and goddamn fascism all the fucking time. That's what he would do. But I think the big thing with Star Trek is they need to focus on the fact that humanity put beside its differences and came together under one coalition in order to then seek out the heavens. And through that, we removed money. We opened up healthcare. We advanced ourselves technologically by shedding ourselves of religion. These are things that are very good. We should definitely I don't think you get rid of your faith, but I think you definitely get rid of organized religion. That has caused nothing but problems and strife in this entire world. And because it's corrupted by men who want power. And that's a big factor with religion, okay? And, I love the saying, "Anyone who tries to tell you God is real is just selling you something." Now, not to say that I inherently believe that, but I do think that it's accurate, and I think the same goes for, like, psychics and mediums and, astrologers and everything like that. That shit's all, like, fucking vibe coding, It's like, "Oh, I see a woman with the name T in your life. Oh, do you know a woman with the name T? Oh, I've got my grandma Trudy. Oh, is Trudy her name? No, no, no. Her name is Sarah Gertrude Rodriguez Hamilton the third. Oh, but did she go by Trudy? Not really. I mean, sometimes like her bingo club called her Trudy. Well, did she love bingo? She played it like once every 3, 4 years, wasn't a big deal. No, but she's coming through right now that she all of that kind of fucking cold reading bullshit. Right? Like that's divided humanity more than anything else. Politics is at what point in time is helping your fellow man worse than the reason why the right wing is selfish is because they want, it's not even about individual freedoms. They want something that they can hold over other people, right? Well, if I've made it, why can't somebody else make it? Well, somebody else maybe didn't have the same opportunities you did, right? And some people will be completely down on their luck and be able to kind of pull themselves back up. Absolutely. Not everybody's going to be the same, but having a baseline, that's equity, by the way, having a baseline for stuff, and I think we should go to that point. But I think to go back to what I was saying, we're so divided right now, and Star Trek is not helping with that one, which is probably why it should be put out to pasture because I think people try to run Star Trek with a narrative. It's always had a narrative, and not that the narrative is bad, but just that the narrative is one that maybe isn't the most applicable to this day, I guess, right? I don't know. Yeah, get rid of religion because after all, with religion is the Spanish Inquisition, and no one expects the Spanish Inquisition's death, right? Wait, what is this? What is this? I don't know what this mean. I don't know what this means. Is this you're mad at me for saying that religion is bad? Just Google what are the similarities between Gundam and Exo Squad. Gemini will know. I'm sure it will. You know, this is I got a recommendation on Reddit today for the Exo Squad subreddit, which I thought was interesting. So anyway, okay. um, so that's what I'm talking about. Like, so some franchises should probably go into hibernation, if not just be retired. Like, do I think we need another Dukes of Hazzard? No. We've already got Dukes of Hazzard. It was great. We don't need any more. They're rebooting the Rockford Files. I forget with who. Why are you rebooting the Rockford Files? James Garner is dead. Okay, James Garner was excellent in the Rockford Files, but we need a reboot of that show? No. Did Kathy Bates need to reboot Matlock? No. Is it a show that's done well with CBS because their entire demographic is elderly people? Yes. But once that show is canceled, Kathy Bates is retiring. She's already said this, right? Do we need, you can't sit there and be upset with people who use AI because they're using copyrighted material when everything we see coming out of our television and our movies and our books and our comics and everything else is nothing more than just recycled material. It's just recycled content. That's all it is, right? Maybe it has a fresh coat of paint, or maybe it has whatever, a couple things that are different. But for the most part, a lot of the ideas are just pulled from other things, or they're just going back to the well of shit in the 1970s and 1980s and being like, let's just reboot that. Let's just remake that. Like, let's not redo that. And we've learned that if you don't remake it, but you do more of a continuation, you find more success. And the reason why is because people want to go back to what they loved. If nostalgia is the reason why these shows are being rebooted, then you want to go back to what made them good in the first place. Take a look at Quantum Leap, for example. Quantum Leap, the new version of the show, I think lasted 2 seasons. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I heard from everybody that it was really, really good, that it was a really good reboot. Okay. And I love me some Quantum Leap. But if you don't got Scott Bakula back, and I understand about, Dean Stockwell, homie's dead. Okay. But if you don't have Scott Bakula running around, leaping through fucking bodies and shit, then the general audience who grew up going, man, I fucking love me some Quantum Leap, is not going to come back in force and watch it. It's the same thing now that we're getting another Stargate, because they finally decided to start moving forward with another Stargate reboot. Is this reboot going to be a reboot of the movie, or is it going to be another television show? And I understand that Richard Dean Anderson can't come back and do the TV show. He's up there in years now. But it's like, unless you continue it with those characters passing the torch, or you find a way to tie it in, it's probably not going to do as well. Now, if you do a full-blown reboot, are you going to get Kurt Russell and James Spader to come back? Which would be interesting depending on how they want to do it. But again, Stargate is not something that should be rebooted. It should be continued. But then again, is it like, Stargate Atlantis or what some of the Stargate Universe or whatever the other shows were? You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the biggest problem with when you're trying to over diversify your product. Go and look at like Babylon 5. It did 5 seasons of the show, really popular amongst its fan base. And in the subsequent years, it's done a multitude of 2-hour-long movies to kind of keep the story going, which I think is a really cool idea. Now, are they going to reboot Bab 5? I don't know. If all of a sudden we catch wind of Paramount Plus wanting to reboot DS9 or do something about another space station, under the Star Trek banner, and it doesn't have Avery goddamn Brooks in it, I think he died, didn't he? People are going to maybe be a little bit upset and shit, right? But they could do something where they, where they continue to, I don't know, man. Look, the whole thing is wild. The whole thing, you just got your wisdom teeth taken out, your whole face hurts. Did you get all 4? Did you get all 4 or just 2? I got all 4 done at once. And all 4, I woke up during the last tooth pull, and I was conscious, and they never numbed my jaw when they put me under with laughing gas, but they never numbed my jaw, and I'm a bleeder, and apparently I stopped breathing, and so they woke me up, and I heard them say, "Pull the tooth," and so I felt that happen. Yeah, dude. Oh, fuck, Jesus Christ, dude. How's the Vicodin right now working out for you? I was fucked up, man. I was done. It hurt that I couldn't smoke for like 2 weeks, and, and I'll tell you this, the first movie I went and saw at the drive-in when I got that operation done was Austin Powers and Goldmember. Do you know how much it hurt to watch Austin Powers and Goldmember with my jaw healing? That hurt bad. Anyway, let's see. They only care about remedies quantum. You oh my god, what are you talking? Are you talking about the what was it? Quantum. I know what you're talking about. That game was not very good. Um, I had it. I don't really care for it as much as people out there do. But you know, anyway. You know what? Let's see here. Um, let's see here. Oh shit, I'm glad you're okay. They pulled off one of my wisdom teeth and left blood in my mouth. Didn't clean me up after it. Oh shit, dude, that's fucking terrible. They put me asleep during my colonoscopy. That was the best sleep I had. Yeah, because you're old. Hey, listen, man. I turned 44 in a little over 5 weeks. Okay. So like I have to go in for a colonoscopy at 45. I'm kind of excited to be honest with you, right? Not that I want, anything going up my butt. Because I think I would be like, just like, no, let me stay awake and let me just watch the camera, you know. Like, or can I just record this and watch it later on repeat? I just want to see what my insides look like. Sounds kind of creepy to say, but still. Uh Loved the MAGA portrait Jarbo. You know what? Some mothers are just really, really easily made into MAGA. You know what I mean? Some mothers out there are already MAGA, and all you have to do is just ask Chat GPT to put a MAGA hat on them. Sometimes they're moms from little places. Sometimes their sons are really annoying, and that we don't like them, but we just find out, that their mom loves MAGA, and we just put a MAGA hat on the mom. OC is MAGA country. Yeah, it is. Let's see. Droga says he also feels numb when he sits down after wisdom teeth got pulled. Well, that's because there are you got to you got to watch out for the butt stuff. Let's see. What's it? Colonoscopy usually uses propofol, the MJ drug for sleep, so you wake up better than old drugs. Nice, nice. Some ladies are MAGA. No, this lady is really MAGA. The lady whose hat I put on her head was really MAGA. What I find to be really funny about it is I don't think the guy knows. You know what I mean? I don't think the guy fucking knows. But I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Let me see here. All right, hold up. Okay. So here we go, right? Who's Orange County mother do you think this is? I'll give you guys one guess. And if he's watching, ha ha, you bitch. Anyway. Okay, let's see here. It's an expensive procedure. Do it while the insurance covers it. I see insurance change because of it to go. Yeah, man, I'm a little bit worried about that. I get my coverage through the state, and like I'm worried that I'm gonna lose my coverage, so that will suck ass. Especially because I have to have a CPAP machine, and that shit's fucking expensive. Is she a MILF or not? No, she's not a MILF, dude. You fucking nasty bastard. Jesus, is she a MILF? Is she a MILF? I bet you wish she was a MILF. Right? Ooh, man. I'm not gonna say it. 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 All right. Whose mom was that? I'm not saying whose mom it was. But if you've been around here long enough, I think you know. Anyway. So what does I want to talk about? Right. What was I gonna what was there was some shit that I wanted to let me see here. Say what? I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. I ain't saying anything. I don't want to be accused of fucking loose lips and shit. I ain't saying a goddamn word. But all right. So let's talk about the Mando, the Mandalorian and Grogu. This shit, dude, fucking slaps. All right. The Mando. I love this shot here. And I know this shot gets reused all the time in, like, other movies like Kong, Skull Island, and Apocalypse Now, but it's meant to evoke a very specific feeling. It's meant to evoke a very specific feeling. And that's why this is playing up to the fucking, to the Gen Xers and shit, right? To the dads out there, to the older dads out there that might recognize this kind of iconography. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how you know, that they are, who they're marketing it to. Let's see here. I'm afraid I'll moan in my sleep while getting a colonoscopy. I think as long as you don't come, you'll be fine. But if they just keep like rubbing it in and rubbing it out, you might hit your prostate, man. Imagine waking up from a colonoscopy and you got like a mad raging boner and just a whole bunch of fucking nut in your drawers. You're like, what happened? But you're like, I feel fucking relaxed. Let's go. Talk about Superman, people will get upset. Yes. Every time I talk about Superman, people get upset. It's very funny. It's very funny how many people get mad when I bring up accurately how Superman is a boring character. And the only person to do him right was the deconstructed version with with Henry Cavill by Zachary Snyder. Anyway, here. Some moan, some snores, to be honest, man. Like, could you imagine? You're just like, I mean, I'd probably be like, I don't know. I'm not gonna make the joke. All right. Let's go.
Hey, never touch the buttons.
Okay, so I'm sure I'm gonna pause this as we go through because there's things I want to talk about. You know what? No, here's the thing. We'll watch the whole thing, then I'll go back through and I'll pause it where I want to talk about it.
I can use some information.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
I'm looking for a HWAD.
Close for the night. Thank you.
Gangsters, war criminals.
Long live the Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
Goddamn. Brendan Wayne does such a good job.
It's about preventing another war.
Strap in.
You will suffer. And then it will be his turn.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor. The kid will live centuries beyond me. I won't always be around to protect him.
Are you scared? You should be.
Do we run? Or do we fight?
I like this kid.
What are you waiting for? Let's save the rest for after dinner.
Okay, so a couple things right off the bat. Yes, this does look like the Mandalorian TV show. So I do get why people are complaining about that. However, let me kind of offer a fucking counterpoint. You know what I hate? I hate when you got movies like the Simpsons movie, the Rugrats movie, the Bob's Burgers movie, where they take the style of the show and then they put shading on everything. Right? They want you to know that it's a big budget movie. They want you to know that it's going to be like that. And then you go and you watch it and you're like, but that's distracting because that's not what I'm fucking used to. Then I take you, by the way, fourth, I want you to go, and I want you to go back to the chapter 9, which is the season 2 premiere of The Mandalorian. Jon Favreau directed it. And I want you to go back and watch the fucking last 20 minutes of that episode where Mando and Cobb Vanth are taking on a goddamn crate dragon. And I want you to watch how the aspect ratio actually opens up to make it appear like it was filmed for fucking IMAX. And then I want you to look at that and I want you to go, God damn it. Okay, the movie might actually be able to sell me on its scope and its scale because I have fucking faith in Favreau. All right. I have fucking faith in Favreau. Absolutely have faith in that motherfucker. All right. Now, look, I agree that the color is the thing, but this isn't finished graphics yet. All right. And also, again, you're looking at something heavily compressed for YouTube. You're looking at things that are not going to be shown in the best possible fucking light. So let's go back through this again. All right. For one, we got the Apocalypse Now opening. What the hell's going on? God damn it. There. What? No, I want fucking Jesus. This extension I have is nice, but it gets annoying. All right. So we got the Apocalypse Now opening, which I think is cool. So we see some X-Wings. Right. What is that right there? That is God, which one is that? It looks like it's not a Naboo starfighter, is it? You know what we're gonna do? I'm just gonna go through this and then I'm gonna say fuck it. We're gonna head over to Star Wars Explained channel and watch his breakdown because that motherfucker knows what he's talking about. Okay. He ain't like fucking Star Wars theory that's gonna be like, I don't know, man. Sigourney Weaver's a movie in this movie. It's kind of gay, it's kind of woke shit. At least Star Wars theory has the passion. And they'll have also the Easter eggs that I probably won't be able to name off the top of my head. But anyway, still like the shot. Now, here we go. Hold on. I want to go back to this shot right here. Okay. Like this right here. Right. Like it looks kind of like this is the Naboo. No, it's bigger. It just the yellow got me. Right. So here's the thing. How did he get?
Hey, never touch the buttons.
Okay. We also know that goes back to, I think it is chapter 3 or chapter 4, maybe the opening of chapter 5 when he's pressing the buttons. And we have that. There was a bunch of memes about that from when the show first premiered in 2019. So this is obviously a callback to that particular cold open of the episode. But I mean, the fact is, he's back in the fucking Razor Crest, but it's got the yellow markings, like it's got the Naboo starfighter markings or something. So I don't quite know who this is with. Look at the bunkers right there. The bunkers make it look like it's something maybe post-rebellion, or some kind of because isn't the Razor Crest was I thought the ship that he had was like not like a prototype, but it was a very rare ship, right? Wasn't it Imperial made? I need to go and look all that up. But I feel like that is something that he very much, it was a very special ship. God, when they destroyed it, that pissed me off. But it's back. Oh God, the Razor Crest. I love the Razor Crest. It's such a sexy ship. The Naboo Starfighter was also really cool. I'm not gonna lie, but dude, the fucking Razor Crest is the Razor Crest. Okay, like we can all be happy that the Razor Crest is back.
I can use some information.
Whoa. For this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
I'm looking for a HWAD.
Close for the night. Thank you.
Okay, so there's a lot of controversy around that right there. Because if those of you who don't know, all right, for those of you who don't know, what you've got is the Martin Scorsese is voicing that character. Martin Scorsese has joined the Star Wars universe. All right. Did it look like a Y-wing? Was that a Y-wing? It looked like a Y-wing, but I mean, maybe it's just like it didn't look like the thrusters were behind it. It looked even. It didn't look like they were the cockpit was pronounced. You know what I mean? But anyway, Martin Scorsese, right, voicing the role of the alien in that little clip right there. It's definitely a little out of place, but I'm not against it, right? Because Unkar Platt from The Force Awakens was actually voiced by Simon Pegg. one of the First Order troopers in the scene where Rey uses the Jedi mind powers to get the stormtrooper to let her go. That was Daniel Craig. You know what I mean? So there's always kind of been celebrities popping up here, popping up there. Even I believe In Sync had cameo appearances in Attack of the Clones as stormtroopers, I think, or Imperial Guards, or so. They were in the movie. And I do know that Prince Edward and the two sons, right? Was it Prince Henry and Prince Edward, whatever? I don't fucking know. I don't follow the royals, but those guys were also in The Last Jedi. They had cameo appearances in that one as well as First Order troopers. So we do get a lot of that. But Martin Scorsese basically saying that Marvel isn't cinema, calling out all of these movies, then popping up inside of, this is kind of hypocritical to some people. But to that, I counter that with go and watch Martin Scorsese's portrayal of himself in the first episode of The Studio. And I think he gets it now a little bit more than he did. He stopped being as curmudgeonly in that particular episode, because even though it's really funny what happens, but the fact that he allowed it to happen like that he was on board with playing it like that, and that actually, real quick aside, according to Seth Rogen, that opened the door for a lot of the celebrity cameos in The Studio's first season because Martin Scorsese jumped on board. Yeah, his appearance in the fucking Studio was good. Yeah, Kool-Aid. I know. Wait, you're buying my movie just to shelve it? Just to kill it? Yeah. Fucking that show. If you haven't seen that show is absolutely worth your time, energy, effort, everything. It is such a good show.
Gangsters, war criminals.
Long live the Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
Now, the deck of cards thing is interesting because in my mind, and I don't know if there's any cultural significance with Star Wars, but in my mind, I always go back to the deck of 52 from the Iraq War, when we had the list of the top 52 prize targets that we wanted to get. And that was something that they were kind of putting out. It was a weird, like, jingoistic approach to, like, pop culture. In fact, the game Mercenaries that came out from what was it? Oh God, what the fucking name of the company? I can't remember right now. But when they put that game out, you actually hunted down a deck of 52. Though you had 52 targets in the game, and that was definitely playing up that whole thing from the Iraq War. So I really can't help but feel like it's kind of the similar thing here. Obviously, this is going to take place, I think, like, I don't know, probably earlier on in the movie, because you got Sigourney there and she's handing them, this card, which is not the tracker, whatever it was called. You know what I mean? That they normally use. So whatever's going on here, I don't quite know.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
Which tells me, by the way, this is fucking epic right here. Oh my God. So epic. Let me go back a little bit. Which tells me that, because he's saluting, right? So this is, I think she's an agent of the, I think who she is I think she's an agent of the New Republic. So this is, here's the thing. What I think is happening is that they know the Empire is trying to go into the unknown regions, right? And that they maybe are trying to, like, to kind of maybe regroup. And we know that's what led to the First Order. Okay. And I think, and again, I haven't seen Ahsoka. So if any of this pops up from Ahsoka, don't tell me, because I haven't seen it yet. I will before the movie comes out, though. But it tells me that if we are leaning towards Thrawn as being the big bad going forward, then, because there's also been rumors, by the way, that this is not going to end The Mandalorian, that this is getting ready to kind of open the door to, like, the next season of the show, which is, like, again, I can't wait because I fucking love it. But what you've got Thrawn and whatever he's doing, right, to kind of take over whatever remnants of the Empire are left for Heir to the Empire. And this might be like the whole thing of her going, like, we have all of these high profile, bad guys that are still out there that we need to go and remove from the board. And you're a bounty hunter, and you fought in the first, the remnants of the Empire. You fought, Moff Gideon. You had the Darksaber, right? Now Bo-Katan has the Darksaber. She's the one in charge of Mandalore. You've got all of that shit. And Mando is like, all right, because there's been a rumor too that Giancarlo Esposito is going to be coming back as fucking Moff Gideon. And I hope that he does, because I love Moff Gideon. I think at the end of the last season of the show, like when he fell into the burning pit, it's kind of like at the end of Avatar Fire and Ash with Korra. You're just like, he ain't dead. He ain't dead. There's no way that we didn't see him actually die. Therefore, he's not actually dead. But what I want to know, though, is who are these guys here? Because we've seen the AT-ATs walking along the path. Okay, look at the snow troopers that are here. Obviously, this is happening on a snow planet. Is it Hoth? Probably not. Would it be funny if it was Hoth? Would it be funny if they went to the old rebel base on Hoth and then they used that as their hideout, thinking there's no way that they'd ever come here, right? There's no way they'd ever come here. They would never come here. They'd never find us out here. They would never go back to Hoth. But they're definitely somewhere cold. Okay.
Empire.
And then you got this,
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
This right here is so fucking cool. Just okay, like we know that Mandalorian is a gunslinger. By the way, if you don't know, Brendan Wayne is the gunslinger. So he's got the two stunt doubles, right? There's Brendan Wayne and there's the other guy. The other guy does more of the martial arts hand-to-hand combat. Brendan Wayne does the gunslinger shit. He's the grandson, by the way, of fucking John Wayne. All right. So if you want to talk about this, the pedigree of Westerns, all right, of like Hollywood royalty, of Western everything, the grandson of fucking John Wayne is the guy who's doing all the gunslinger shit in the show. It's fucking awesome. It's really cool. Do I think Moff Gideon we saw die was a clone? No, we didn't actually see him die. You don't care about, and I didn't spoil the end. I said we didn't see him die. I didn't say anything else. Shut up. You didn't even watch it. Sorry. Look, Music Man, there's going to be a lot of spoilers. Because you kind of have to you have to know. I'll do my best to keep it cool. All right. Like I haven't given away anything substantial, but about, I have to, do you know about the season 2 finale of Mandalorian? It's been like 5 years. So I just have to know if you know about that. If you don't know about that, I will try to not say anything. But if you do know, we can talk about it. But if you don't know, and I've talked about it before, I think I talked about it last night, actually. But I don't want to ruin it for you. Obviously, it's such a good show. I want you to love it. Okay. So I'll do my best. I will do my best. This movie looks like woke garbage. Sure. All right. Nice to see that swagger again for John Wayne Ghost. Basically, yeah, man. But yeah. Either way, that's such a badass fucking scene right there. This whole trailer is a big ass spoiler for the Mandalorian series so far. I'm not going to sit there and disagree necessarily. I'm not going to agree. Also, I think it's a nice homage. It's a nice homage, to that. I think that's kind of where we are with it. It's a nice little homage, I think it's good. Oh my God. Anyway. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, by the way, I just got to say it again. Superman is boring. All right, let's go.
This isn't about revenge.
Wait. Hold on. Now, which ship is that? That's not the Naboo Star. So, but whatever this is, this base on this island, and it looks like Scarif, by the way. Kind of looks a bit like Scarif, but we know Scarif's been destroyed. Well, we know that base on Scarif has been destroyed. I don't know if they destroyed the entire planet. Do we know if they destroyed? No, they didn't, because that was the first test of destroying the whole planet. Was in A New Hope. So I'm talking about Rogue One, which is 10 years old at the end of this year. So again, right, we're kind of past the point of all that. But there's something going on here. Okay, I think you're right. I think that was a Y-Wing, because there's a Y-Wing right there, and I think that was a Y-Wing. I was probably wrong. There's the X-Wings, 1, 2, 3, a couple Y-Wings. I think these are the guys we saw in the sunset right here. because it's also sunset coming down right there. And whoever this is right here on this ship, we don't quite know yet. But that could also be Sigourney Weaver's character. Whatever this is, I think has to do with either the remnants of the rebellion or it's part of the New Republic that's trying to track what's happening with the upcoming First Order.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
Now, is it just me or do these guys kind of look like from Star Wars Outlaws, right? The droid from Star Wars Outlaws kind of looks like that, right? These kind of whatever these droids are, they got the capes, I mean, this is just interesting to me. And what I love about this is that it does feel like it's going to be going back to touch on the Clone Wars, because obviously the Clone War technology would still be around 30 some odd years after the end of the Clone War. Okay. It's like we saw in the Mandalorian season 3, that whole thing with the droids, which I won't say anything more on, right? Those of you who know, and so you got to wonder how much of that is going to be there. Anyway, again, I'm trying, Music Man. I'm trying. Okay. I'm trying.
Preventing another war.
Strap in.
Okay, so right there is gonna cause, I think, a lot of problems for some diehard fans. Okay, now I saw a comment earlier on about Pedro taking off. How many espressos did I drink? None. Why do you think? What? I like Star Wars, dude. I like feeling good about Star Wars. Yes, I just so happen to be nursing on a sparkling ice caffeinated beverage at the moment, right? But it's only 70 milligrams of caffeine. Okay. I could take enough caffeine to put down an elephant and still go right to sleep. This is just a way to kind of keep me going. All right. My whole point, though, is I love you guys have to understand, I love the fact, truly do love the fact that we can look at this. We can see a trailer for a new Star Wars movie coming to theaters based on a show that a lot of us truly fucking love, with characters that we truly fucking love, that we are so happy are coming back. And not only that, but it's tying itself into other aspects of the Star Wars universe, bringing it all home, leading into what can only be the Heir to the Empire fucking trilogy, right? Like giving us the whole story of Thrawn. We are feasting fucking good. And I fucking refuse to look at this through any other lens, because this is what a lot of us have wanted and we're finally fucking getting it. And the people out there that are poo-pooing on this, right? They're the ones that are truly not even fans of the fucking show. You can even tell, right? Oh, it looks fucking woke. Oh my God, he's fucking whatever. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ, my dick is so fucking small. All right, like that's how they fucking sound to me. And a lot of them are like that too. They can sit there and they go, but it's like, I want more color. Well, then go fucking watch a goddamn colorful fucking movie. You can go find the goddamn Wizard of Oz right now in 4K and get that Technicolor shoved right up your dick hole. Either way, I'm glad that we're going back to this fucking world. All right. It could be shot through a potato and broadcast on the fucking anus of a rhino, and I would still be there day one with popcorn in hand. If I could only watch this movie just right there at the rectum of a rhino, I would probably do that in hopes he doesn't fart and I don't get pink eye. But I would take the fucking risk because I'm glad to see that we're back. Okay, like here's the thing: is I, like many of you, love Star Wars. I, like many of you, want to see more Star Wars. And I, like many of you, refuse to look at this and still apply the Last Jedi fiasco to it. I could spend, you all know this, I could spend hours dissecting the fuck out of that movie. Okay. And pointing out the inconsistencies, the problems with the narrative, why it just doesn't make any sense in so many fucking ways, breaking it down moment for moment, beat for beat. I could do that. Do you guys have any idea like how much it sucks? It truly sucks to be a big fan of Star Wars. All right. And then realize that like there's a Star Wars movie that I don't like. That sucks. And my anger about it helped lead, like I made so much fucking money bitching about it that if I was just a shill, if I was just a soulless, gutless, nutless fucking cunt of a shill, then I would just sit there for the last goddamn 8 years and cry about this one fucking movie and anything else that came out, compare it to this one fucking movie just to keep people mad and ignorant and ill-informed and angry. And just so I could make a quick, cheap dollar off of your fucking anger by fucking feeding you a drug that is so goddamn addictive. Right. If I wanted to be that kind of fucking nostalgic fucking drug dealer and not have a conscience or give a fuck about my own goddamn fucking beliefs, then yeah, I could easily do that. That wouldn't be a problem if I didn't believe that. Okay. The Last Jedi was not a good movie, but you know what? Solo wasn't The Last Jedi. The Rise of Skywalker wasn't The Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker had its problems. Yes, it did. It very much did. Okay. But I'm not saying I liked it more than The Last Jedi. But the problem with The Last Skywalker was that it tried to please everybody. That's the big problem. And what I hope is that The Mandalorian and Grogu doesn't try to please everyone. Know your fucking audience. Trust your audience to show up. Trust the audience to look. Here's the other part of this too. Grogu himself, the child, Baby Yoda, whatever it is you want to fucking call him, has been front and center on all Star Wars marketing literally for the past 6 years. By the time this movie comes out, kids who were like 6 years old or whatever, 5 years old, are going to be like preteens and shit. And having grown up with Baby Yoda or Grogu or the child, whatever they want to call it, they're going to have grown up with all this shit, grown up with the Mandalorian show, grown up with all the marketing, with all the merchandising, with everything else. And it's like my kids, they see Baby Yoda, dude, they fucking love Baby Yoda. They fucking love Baby Yoda. They have zero idea about who Grogu is. I've shown them the trailer. I've told them who Grogu is. They're now saying Grogu. They're like, okay, I want to know more about it. That's the ambassadorship, right? You show these people something you love. You show these people something that you care about, and then you work with them to help get involved if they want to. Right. Now, I mean, it's obviously not like, force it down their fucking mouth or nothing like that. Right. I mean, like, it's kind of like sometimes people can't take to something right away or just don't want to. It's kind of like fucking Warhammer. I think Warhammer is interesting. I don't really have a cultural connection to it. Right. Like as soon as I beat Outer Worlds, I've got Space Marine 2 locked and loaded. I'm going to dive into that motherfucker. But it's, but again, like I don't have the kind of love. Maybe this will get me there. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like you have to also know how to promote this shit. But I feel that, again, it's so much easier. It's so much better to focus on the positive and try to talk about things you love. And that is maybe the one thing I will truly grant The Last Jedi. Right? You don't win the war by killing your enemies. You do it by saving who you love. Whatever the fuck that line was. It is a very poignant line. And I do believe that it holds weight. I think if you can sit there and if you can talk about it and you can tap into someone's excitement, right? And you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You ever talk to someone about a movie and they're talking about it, or not even a movie, just anything in general that you kind of have a tacit interest in, but the way that they talk about it gets you kind of hyped up. You feel it, you know what I mean? You feel the hairs on your neck get a little bit, they stand up a little bit, right? You feel like the hairs on your arms get a little fucking electric-y. You're kind of like, yeah, man, yeah, let's fucking go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it has to be. That's how good it has to fucking be. And again, man, you can sit there, how much, and it doesn't have to be necessarily like the greatest product in the world. Okay. Right. Like if I was going to sit there and like talk about the movie Nothing But Trouble with Dan Aykroyd, I just watched it a couple weeks ago. Dude, I will hype that movie fucking up because I think it's fun. I will hype the movie up because I think it's fucking fun. All right. Like Chris the Bipolar Jedi was on, we were talking, this is like 2 years ago. And he tells me that he'd never seen Big Trouble in Little China. And I yelled at his ass about that. And he's like, all right. And he went and watched it that night. And he came back going like, dude, you were right. Holy fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you got to tap into. This is what we have to tap into, right? As a collective, we have got to go back to what it means to fucking find shit that makes us happy. So much shit in this fucking world makes us mad, right? You watch the news every day, it makes you mad. I mean, shit, did I watch a lot of shit with movie news? It still makes me fucking mad because it's the whole world of it. It's terrible. You know, it's so much more fun to get excited about something. I don't know about you fuckers, but like I'd rather be happy about some shit like that. The rest of my fucking life, you know, is it is what it is. But it's like at least with this, I have something I can hold on to. And I can show my kids, man. You know, again, you know what my daughters asked me to watch the other day? We're going to watch a movie, and both my daughters were like, "Can we watch Three Ninjas?" Three Ninjas, a 34-year-old movie or 33-year-old movie that came out when I was 10 or 11, and they love that damn movie. They fucking love that movie. And that's something that we can all share together. That's something to get excited about. I have not seen Point Break 1991. That is true. Okay, I'll tell you this. I was on Tubi the other night. I think it's on Tubi. I could have sworn I saw it on Tubi. Or maybe I was looking through my Plex server and I saw it on there and I was like, maybe I should finally watch Point Break. I was so close to watching Point Break. Yeah, that's you with video games and Legos. Based, dude. Absolutely based. Filoni will save Star Wars, but they're threatening his own movie with the Disney Plus release as opposed to theatrical ridiculous. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. But I don't know if they necessarily know how they want to play it, right? Like this is the end of Kathleen Kennedy's, tenure, right? I mean, obviously, Star Wars Starfighter, is whatever, and this is where we're in a new era, right? After 14 years, 13 years, 13 years really, we're in a new era. And I think it's okay to be excited for the future. Okay. But what I won't do is I won't go into the apathy of before, right? Every project stands on its own and the project beyond it can do better. All right. Like Mandalorian was excellent seasons 1 and seasons 2 and season 3 got a little wonky. I will admit at times, but still overall very enjoyable. Book of Boba Fett had some great moments, had some not so great moments. Andor, fuck. I can't praise that show enough, especially season 2. Holy fucking shit, and there's and I haven't seen Ahsoka yet, or Skeleton Crew, or all of Acolyte, and that's on me. I'm gonna watch a little, or Bad Batch seasons 2 and 3, but I love Bad Batch season 1, and then the Darth Maul show comes out here pretty soon too. So there's a lot of really, really, really good stuff. Tubi's having an explosion of shows next month. Oh, you mean all of the CW shit? Yeah, dude, I'm excited for that. We see Return to Silent Hill the other night. My blood was boiling. I wanted to like it. See, that's kind of the thing you have to worry about with that kind of stuff. I haven't seen Return to Silent Hill yet. I need to watch it. I might watch Mercy tonight. Well, no, I need to do some writing tonight. That's what I got to do. What about? Oh, I did see. Okay, Kenobi. There are parts of Kenobi I really, really like. And there are other parts of Kenobi that I really, really don't like. And like the scene with Flea and chasing young Leia through that whole scene was terrible, terribly shot, terribly edited. I mean, I don't even know why. But then you get to some good stuff, but the problem too is also the way that they shot it, right? The way that they shot it, they fucked up filming it. And so it kind of looked weird and they couldn't do anything to fix it. And I don't know if that was because that was done during COVID and just things got messed up. I think Deborah Chow got kind of hosed on that one, to be honest with you, because she hasn't, as far as I know, really done anything of note since then, and I think they want to go do a Kenobi season 2 to kind of make up for Kenobi season 1. Do I think they need to do a Kenobi season 2? Nah, not necessarily. But, I would definitely watch it. Ewan in the role, I love. He obviously loves the role. We want more of it, I mean, that would definitely be something that they could, pull off or whatever. And they should do it. They should do something maybe. Maybe we can have, Obi-Wan help out with, with something else with the rebellion or whatever. I don't know. Have him do something. We could figure out a storyline for him to do, but just make it a more competent storyline. Like I said, there's things I love about it. There's things that just didn't work out very well. And that's always a problem, but nothing about, the actress in that show was a problem. She was great. And I hated the fact that people went after her for being black. It was so racist. It was so terrible. It was just like, there was so much hatred. And that's also one of the problems too, is like when the hatred starts to take over, it does. It taints everything. There are shows I haven't watched until after they've been over because I just don't want to fucking engage with them. Honestly, Game of Thrones is something I just haven't engaged with since the series finale. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that it's just like I didn't hate it, but like it seems like everybody else fucking hates it. And I'm like, well, then why would I even want to watch or talk about this other shit? Right? You guys are all just gonna turn on that in a fucking heartbeat anyway. Like there's no consistency. The fandoms are so fucking inconsistent. They're so fucking up their own dickhole. It's just fucking annoying. And I know that not everything works out the way we want it to, obviously, but and you can have complaints. There's nothing wrong with complaining about something, but I think a lot of it has to be done with some kind of genuineness to it. And I don't think a lot of shit you see on social media is genuine, whether it is something that is being performed for YouTube or something you see on Twitter. Everyone's just trying to get clicks. But what that does is that permeates in somebody's mind. And I think it permeates in somebody's soul. When you look at something that you love and you truly love it and you truly cherish it, and then you see everyone around just feeding negative energy into it, right? It does. That impacts you. And I think people tune the fuck out. And I think also, just as a quick aside, I think the way that the studios, television studios, have handled TV shows over the years by building up these series, promising things, canceling shows before we get a chance to see them close out their story, and constantly fucking over the fans of that show because it didn't hit a predetermined number that nobody fucking knows about and nobody has the true information for. So it's just what they do in order to then just, keep losing money at something in order to, I don't know what the fuck, right? And that's a big problem. And I just feel like, people are taking out their fucking issues on this shit. Yeah, Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey. Yeah, I know. We're gonna see a bunch of grannies fight. This is gonna be pretty funny. Terminator Zero being canceled was sad. Yeah, I thought the show did well. Everyone was talking about it when it came out. I will admit I never finished it, but like from what I saw, it was pretty good. But that might also be the problem. Is like again, start something, not finish it. But it's difficult when you've got how many shows, how many movies, how many things come out all the time. And everything needs your attention in order to fucking succeed, right? If everything needs your attention in order to succeed, then you can't give your attention to everything, or you need to give it lead in time for people to be able to get to it. And you can't just run and hide because sometimes stuff doesn't pick up until the second season. People get a chance to go in and marathon everything and then become fans. All right, quick little side story. Breaking Bad, by the way. Okay. The show had its audience. It was doing well, but it was nowhere near as big as it was leading into the 5th season. Okay. That was because of Netflix. Labor Day weekend 2011, Netflix dropped Breaking Bad seasons 1 through 3 and Mad Men seasons 1 through 4. People binged, and I mean fucking binged, both of those shows over the course of that holiday weekend. All right. And now Breaking Bad, picks up a lot as we get further into the seasons. Well, the difference, though, between Breaking Bad and Mad Men is at the time, Breaking Bad was about halfway through its 4th season when those episodes dropped on Netflix. So now all of a sudden you had all these people who have just discovered Breaking Bad, fallen in love with it, wanting more of it, and they've rushed to AMC to watch it week to week to week. So by the time you get to the season 4 finale, you realize, holy shit, this show has now got a massive new fan base. Why do you think they broke season 5 into 2 parts? Because they wanted to capitalize on the popularity of the show and extend it a little bit longer so they could get the money. They could earn off what they've done. And it worked out quite well considering the fact that the show was quite good. Yeah, I just said that, Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey. That's going to be, again, grannies fighting. Might as well give them all walkers and shit. That must have happened with The Walking Dead as well. The Walking Dead started off, again, the first season had like 6 episodes. Very good 6 episodes, but they had 6 episodes. Second season rolls around, right? You had the shake-up drama with Frank Darabont leaving, and then, you bring in Greg Nicotero as a showrunner. They get to the farm, they meet Herschel, they meet all those characters and shit like that. And it's what happened is it had a build-up where I forget the name of the daughter, right? The daughter, like Carol's daughter. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? That was the fucking through line through the first half of the season. You get to the mid-season finale and that barn door opens, right? That's a fucked up scene. And then you get to the back half of the season. Now AMC did it smart. They were running it at they were running it Sunday to Sunday to Sunday. But a big thing that made The Walking Dead get a lot more popular as time went on, or at least the fan base, was the online side of things, and the fact that Greg Nicotero and other people included involved in the show were out there talking to the fans on podcasts and things like that. And as a result of that, they really found a dedicated base of people. Dude, even my stepdad every Sunday night was Walking Dead appointment viewing. Every Sunday night was like that. He loved The Walking Dead, right? And one time we were talking about Dawn of the Dead. And I said, like, zombies are really just kind of a social commentary story. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, they're social commentary. It's more about the humans than it is the zombies. Like, that's the whole thing. And he goes, like, he kind of looks at me and he's like, what did Hollywood do to you? He made a comment about that. Like, no, it's just killing zombies. And I'm like, no, there's more to the story. Like, there's a lot more to the story here, but I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah, and the Talking Dead was pretty big as well. Yeah, that was pretty big. Did whatever happened to Chris Hardwick after that whole shit? Okay, Andrew here says we used to have watch parties for The Walking Dead. 8 to 10 family members and friends would come on over. All stopped after the Glenn episode. The Glenn episode absolutely fucking destroyed it. I never saw it. The last episode of the show that I remember watching was where Glenn fell off the dumpster. Right. And I know he lives, but I was kind of waiting for the Negan shit to happen because I knew what happened that had been spoiled. And then there was a big buildup for it. Right. I was at Comic-Con the summer before that happened, and they had a wax scene there. Right. They had all the characters on their knees, Negan holding Lucille. They had that whole scene there. And there was a lot of buildup for it. And I mean, like, the death of Abraham was bad, but the death of Glenn was just holy fuck. I saw that too. And I just watched in real time this fan base just kind of start to break. It never recovered after that episode. It never got the same amount of views ever again. It completely dropped off of everything once that happened. And I think the reason why that happened, because it was so violent that to someone as nice as Glenn, right? Like, and you'd watch this character now for what, 5-6 seasons, and that was so violent of an episode that it just broke people. And that can happen in these shows, right? That can happen in these movies when you do something that is so, like, it works in the comics for how brutal it is, but you have to find a way to, like, tone it down for the normies, because the normies aren't going to like it. You know what I mean? They peaked at 17 million views. Was that the Glenn episode, or was that whatever? Because I know that it never fully recovered after Glenn. The ratings were just down after that, from what I was reading. Let's see. Ford says, for me, The Walking Dead fell off because of Negan. He was just another governor villain. Repetitive. I mean, well, that's kind of the point, right? Oh, yeah, that was Glenn. Okay. So the whole thing, I know we're kind of completely off topic here. I'm going to get back over to the trailer here in a second. It was, the idea there essentially is that, you had the governor, and I forget the name, David, whatever the guy who played the governor. He was great, and people really wanted Negan, but it was like Negan and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, from what I hear, did a good job as Negan. But again, I think it was just kind of like so kind of just like governor and then whatever the fuck in between, and then you get to Negan, and there maybe should have been a little bit more build up to get to that point, to go from one big villain to another big villain. I think that they were trying to do one big bad a season, but then, they kept Negan on. I mean, fuck, dude, even Negan got his own spinoff show with, God, what's the hell's her character name? The Glenn's wife, right? So it's like the guy who killed her husband and her are going to go off and fight zombies in New York. Okay. right? Like, did they tell me they never fucked? Please tell me they never fucked. The cannibals were the bridge. Were they? It's been a while since I've seen the show. They increased too many episodes and too many commercials, war with the fandom, too many fillers. Yeah, that can happen. But again, when you're rocking that kind of fan base and you can make that kind of money, I can kind of see why they would do it, but they really shouldn't do it. You want to make sure that when you do something along those lines, that you have a story you want to tell, and you make the money off of like the merchandise, you make it off the home video sales, things like that. But you also want to make sure you're not wasting your audience's time, because once you do that, you kind of run the risk. No, I'm going to get to the supers. I saw they better not have had sex. I don't know. Maggie, thank you. Is Maggie. I don't know if they definitely had sex or not. I'm just saying they better not have. Okay. Sorry. Rationally for 5. Thank you. Says the problem is you have TLJ shills who think that promoting Filoni and the project he's part of is just catering to toxic fans who hated The Last Jedi. Here's the thing. You're not entirely wrong with that. However, let me explain the difference here. The difference here is, for one, I don't think Filoni hated The Last Jedi. He learned a lot of directing from Rian Johnson. And if anything, it definitely made Filoni a better visual storyteller. And that's a good thing, by the way. The biggest problem here is that, like, with J.J. Abrams being brought back in, Disney and Kathy and J.J., you can tell, they can't denounce The Last Jedi, but they wanted to find everything that they could in order to kind of flip it, right? To kind of skip over it, to kind of just get around it, to go, oh, that happened? Yeah, that happened? Okay. Right? And it ended up pleasing nobody. So then here comes like Filoni and Favreau, and they're doing their own thing, right? That's the Mandalorian. They got the Disney Plus shit, right? They're doing their own thing, not connected to the movies at all, because it takes place 25 years prior. So then that comes out and that blows up, right? And then they're kind of like, I think they were kind of already going to scale back the live action movies at that time, the feature length films. And so then you get the Mandalorian, and that's big, and it's so big you can't ignore it. So like, okay, well, we have to work on building this out. Well, Filoni, having done, all like the Clone Wars and everything else, knows Star Wars. He's, George Lucas's protege or successor, so to speak. And Favreau is a great storyteller as well. So it's a good combination. And Filoni gets to learn a lot. And the thing is, the guy is passionate. Now, I will say, if I'm going to criticize anything with Filoni, this is what I'm going to criticize. I do think that Dave Filoni spends a little bit too much time in his safe zones. That would be Clone Wars and Clone Wars, right? He spends a little bit too much time in those worlds. That's his safe zone. Now, Ahsoka going back and bringing back the Rebels, and now we get Zeb in this trailer, and we're getting all the other stuff. Obviously, he wants to tie that all in. And that's something I'm okay with. Because it's like, this guy has lived and breathed Star Wars now for about 20 years. And he's finally getting the chance to tell the stories how he wants to tell them, and in his way. So we got to see what the man can do. We got to let him cook, but thank you. Let's see. Jess here for 5 says, and the Mando in the park connects if you call Grogu Baby Yoda, or corrects you if you call Grogu Baby Yoda. On one side, point at the toy fair for movie products. Yoshi is all the what I don't know what we were saying. On a side point. Oh, on a side point. Look at the toy fair for movie products. Yoshi is all the hype. Did I miss the toy fair? The toy fair is always interesting. And Yoshi's gonna be so fucking huge, dude. Holy shit. Holy shit. I'm calling it right now, dude. Super Mario Galaxy, right, is gonna, dude, $1.5 billion, $2 billion. I don't know. Yoshi's gonna move merch. You could retcon The Last Jedi and all the sequel trilogy. They should. Let's see. The worst was Ahsoka. I tried. That whole show was a woman smiling smugly at each other with folded arms, glazing at each other. Well, I mean, maybe the season 2 will be a little bit different. I don't have Discord installed on my new PC. So I just got set up today, so I can't see the clip. I don't have it set up right now. So no one I can't do anything with that in the moment. But all right, let's get back to this. You think $4 billion, but that's, dude, it's going to make so much money. My daughters are so excited. My 6-year-old is so excited. She loves the first movie so much. All right, let's keep going, because we went off on a huge tangent on that one.
Suffer. And then it will be his turn.
Okay, so, fucking me, card. Can I even talk? Jesus. Him taking off his helmet. That's the point I wanted to get to. So a lot of people are not happy about him taking off his helmet. Okay, because we spent a whole big portion of season 3 with him talking to the armorer about how to go and, like bathe in the baths of Mandalore in order to cleanse yourself of the heresy, and then you can be seen as a true Mandalore again. However, at the end, fuck, I can't. God damn it, Music Man, I can't fucking say anything. Okay, where things end, for those of you who know, is whatever, right? But here he is multiple times in this, well, at least in multiple shots in this trailer, taking off his helmet, which means it was removed by somebody else. So, he's gonna have to more or less like go back to Mandalore. And I don't know if we're getting Bo-Katan of the movie, but I really hope they don't do a side mission in the feature film that is, hold up, I gotta just fucking, go back to Mandalore right quick, take a fucking dip in the bath, and I'm good again. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Pedro Pascal is one of the biggest stars in the movie or in the world. They gotta have his face, and they've got to put him on the marketing. And he's got to go out there and he's got to go do the press tour for it and all of those things. And so that's going to end up being like you have to do it. All right. There's no now it's kind of like it sucks because what you would like is kind of like with Dredd. Carl Urban kept the helmet on the whole time, but he mouth acted a lot, so we got that like that broodingness, right? And again, Dredd is, come on, one of the best films in the last 20 years. I think we all can agree on that one. And so here they kind of have to do it. I see why it's a business choice, but they should have just kept the helmet on. But anyway.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor. The kid will live centuries beyond me.
Hold on, whatever he's got here, right? Look at this here. So it's got the mud horn, and I don't know if that's a Beskar plate, because remember the armorer made fucking shit. The armorer, it looks like a Beskar plate right there protecting him with the mud horn. So that's cool.
The kid will live centuries beyond me. I won't always be around to protect him.
Are you scared? You should be.
Now, is it just me or does that look like Sebulba? I mean, I highly doubt that's Sebulba, but it looks like Sebulba. Let's see.
Are you scared?
Look, it kind of looks like Sebulba. A little bit. Just a little bit, right? A wee bit. I don't want to spoil it. Okay, at least he takes his fucking. Maybe the way has changed, possibly. The armor is made of Empire currency, right? Well, no. The Empire has multiple forms of currency. The what you're talking about are like they mined Mandalore, and they extracted the Beskar, and then they melted it down into the bars, right? But like to the Mandalorians, the Beskar is like a religious, it's part of their religion. That's how they can make their armor. That's how they can show that they're true Mandalorian. So the Empire did use it as currency, but it has a religious meaning for the Mandalorians. Do I think that Keanu would play a great Darth Raven? No, I don't. Not really. It looks like a puppy. Shut the fuck up. You know what it is. I don't think, it's not that Keanu couldn't play a character like that, but it's like I've seen that casting and I just don't really see it, to be fair. Yeah, I know most of you have seen it. Most of you. Music Man hasn't seen it, so I'm trying to be respectful. All right? Like, it's even though, yes, it's old, and I could make the argument, well, you fuck get your ass around to it and shit like that. I could do that. I could make that argument, but that's also kind of being a dick. All right? I have no reason to be a dick to Music Man. He's been cool as shit. Hold on. I've heard that Abeloth might be coming to Ahsoka Season 2, and Natalie Portman might be returning as Padme, and Abeloth will take her from take her form to deceive Anakin. I don't know. I haven't followed anything about that just yet. A puppet that sounds like he's being voiced by Idris Elba. Fine. Idris Elba can voice anything and it'd be cool. You want Christian Bale as Darth Bane? Wouldn't that be too similar to like his character and fucking Thor? I mean, just in general, like look and shit. Anyway,
Scared? You should be.
That is not Idris Elba. Not at all. What are you talking about? Now, so what this tells me here is I think they're going to drop him into a pit, kind of like in Jabba's palace and on Tatooine and shit. And whatever the fuck this thing is, which looks cool, but it just looks too much like a fucking matte painting for some reason. It looks like a painting. Did AI make this? Ooh.
Run? Or do we fight?
I like this kid.
So real quick, they deciphered what that means right there above the door. What that says is Weathers Apollo. So that is a way to honor Carl Weathers, who sadly passed away last year. That is what they put in the movie to honor him, just as an FYI.
What are you waiting for? Let's save the rest for after dinner.
The fucking macaroons, dude. If you know, you know. And Music Man, he died in 2024. Okay, fine. Zeb was spoiled for me in one of the new Lego sets for the movie. Yeah, but we also knew, I mean, he was in the first teaser. So, very nice Easter egg. Yeah, exactly. Or if you're talking about the carrier, the cookies are also an Easter egg, which is pretty funny. So, I don't have autism or AI offends me. Well, that's good. So yeah, I think it looks great. I think it looks fantastic. He was in the first teaser trailer for Mandalorian, though. That was put out there in August and shit. The movie needs a strong antagonist. I do not disagree. That's the thing we don't know. Who's the villain of the movie? All right. Like when we were watching, Sebulba's coming back in the new racing game. Yeah. If it's like Star Wars Burnout, I'm down here. Anyway. So, what was I talking about there? Right. Strong antagonist. We don't know who the villain is at this point. It could be, again, I have a feeling it might be Thrawn. Or at least Thrawn is going to be like the big bad of the movie, just maybe not the villain that we're fighting. So it's going to be somebody. If Giancarlo Esposito comes back as Gideon, that will be great. We don't quite know who's going to be doing what, but we do need one. And so, because if not, then it comes across feeling like an episode. And it's not to say that it's a bad thing. And you're going to see a lot of reviews, a lot of commentary being like, well, it's just another episode. And I think that's kind of bullshit. Actually, it's not a road trip movie. It's not a road trip movie. That would largely Star Wars, the Starfighter that's coming out. That's kind of being discussed as a road trip movie, but not Mandalorian and Grogu. That's not really a road trip. I think it's going to have it's not like we need to get from point A to point B. It's like we have a mission to do. We have a job to do is what I think is going to happen. The Fandom Menace is the villain. God, I hope. Gina Carano should have popped up in the trailer. No, man. Like, let that shit die. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. God damn it. And I think the reason why you want to let it go is because, like, she's not coming back, you guys. All right. Like, she wanted it to happen. We don't know what the settlement is. Now, look, if she comes back, that's fascinating. All right. But I don't think she's going to come back. I just don't think she's going to come back. Wait, what? Hold on. Oh my God. We just lost another celebrity. Tom Noonan, who, was he was the bad guy in one of the bad guys in Last Action Hero. This guy right here. He just passed away. Tom Noonan passed away peacefully on Valentine's Day 2026. Oh, that's unfortunate, man. He was he was what else was he in? God, what is let me see his IMDb, because I know he's been in more than that. He was 74 years old. Okay. So it wasn't like he was super young, but all right, so here we go. What was he? He was in, oh shit, dude, he's in RoboCop. Okay, so the last thing he was in was a show called Animals. He was in the 12 Monkeys TV show, Wonderstruck, How and Why. It looks like a lot of smaller stuff. Hell on Wheels. Oh, right. Yeah, he was in, he was good in Hell on Wheels as a Reverend. That's what I largely know him from. Because the Hell on Wheels is a great show. He was in The Blacklist. He was a lot of TV shows, it looks like. Nothing wrong with that. He was in The House of the Devil. I never saw that one. Sandoki, New York, or whatever the hell it's called. Okay, he was in that. That was a movie people know about. He was in Seraphim Falls. I don't know what that one is. It looks like, he did a bunch, but it was mostly small stuff. He was in Eight-Legged Freaks, but uncredited. Let's see. He was in that Jack Nicholson movie, The Pledge. He was in The Astronaut's Wife. He was in one episode of X-Files. He was in Last Action Hero as the Ripper. I think that's like the biggest thing he was known for. RoboCop 2 is Kane. He was in the Equalizer TV show. Oh, dude, he was Frankenstein's monster in fucking Monster Squad. He was Frankenstein's monster. Oh, rip, dude. Fucking rip. Oh, that sucks, man. That sucks. Jesus Christ. Fucking everyone's dying, dude. 2026, man, I swear. It's just kneecapping fucking everybody. You know what I mean? Like, just Jesus. I can't believe that shit. It just goes to show you that, like, really love what you fucking love. Love what you fucking love. Because life is too goddamn short. It's too fucking short. Jesus. Anyway, that kind of killed the mood, didn't it? Right? Okay. So, let's get back on point here. Try to find the Star Wars Explained, because I want to watch his video on it. Definitely not, Star Wars Theory, because that's fucking for chuds and for, people who aren't smart. Okay. Here we go. They left $1.5 billion on the table by not having Gina. Shut the fuck up, man. You're full of shit on that one. We're getting old enough to where it's going to start being friends and classmates we know. Yeah. I actually, I don't know why I thought about this yesterday. And this was a tweet that I put out yesterday. All of your heroes will die during your lifetime. And it's just kind of true. It's just kind of true. And we're kind of getting to that point. It's just, it's nuts, Anyway, let's get back on a better, more fun subject here.
For The Mandalorian, and Grogu is here, so of course we're going to break it all down. There are some fun Easter eggs to talk about already, but first I want to spend some time on my initial reaction. This was a fun trailer, and that's all I need this movie to be. I'm not expecting it to be Andor. All I want is a fun, pulpy adventure. Yeah, there are going to be Easter eggs and glupshitos, and I feel like some Star Wars fans have begun acting like The Mandalorian is a lesser Star Wars story because of that. And I do think it would be a problem if that were the only kind of Star Wars story coming out, but it's not. So I, for one, am fully prepared to just dive headfirst into Star Wars-y fun like Scrooge McDuck. We still don't have a ton of information on the story, but I think this trailer did a good job at giving us enough to chew on without giving everything away. It all feels more about tone and scope, and I think this trailer does a lot to make me think that the movie will be far more than just an extended episode of The Mandalorian. Everything feels more cinematic. I mean, the whole trailer opens up with that sunset shot of the X-Wings, which I'm sure is meant to remind us of that shot of the TIE fighters from The Force Awakens, which I think also showed up in an early trailer. The heat rising off of the Adelphi landing pad, ships taking off and landing, everything looks and feels more grand. We see Din and Grogu in the new Razor Crest, and yeah, that does annoy me a bit. I loved the N1, and I thought it was a great evolution of their growth together. Without extra context, this feels like backsliding a little bit, but maybe there's a good reason for it in the movie. They travel to a grungy-looking city planet, and on the surface, this looks like it could be Coruscant, but my hope is that it's Nar Shaddaa. Known as the Smuggler's Moon, it orbited Nal Hutta, which we'll talk about in a second, and it was known as Little Coruscant in Star Wars Legends. It's a location I've always loved, and seeing it show up in live action would be great in any Star Wars story, but it does feel like it would fit well in The Mandalorian. Din goes to a little food stall to speak with an Ardenian who is apparently voiced by Martin Scorsese. The stall is called Hugo's, which is probably named after Scorsese's movie. But Din says he's looking for a Hutt, who I assume is Rada, and we'll talk about him, but first let's touch on the Empire. Colonel Ward gives Din a sabacc card, and he tells her they'll take out every bad guy in their deck of cards. That's something we've seen in the real world, playing decks featuring the faces of top war criminals. But it's also been mentioned in Star Wars already in the book The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, which stated, New Republic intelligence created and circulated an adapted sabacc deck with each of the 76 cards featuring the last known image of a wanted Imperial fugitive. The idea seemed to be that these cards would be disseminated through tap cafes and cantinas, hopefully resulting in the wider population identifying some of those featured. It's pretty wild to actually see that deck. There's a short scene of one of the Imperial warlords that we saw in The Mandalorian Season 3 in some sort of snowy fortress. We can't see the other people, but their hairstyles don't scream Imperial to me, so I wonder if they're actually senators or corporate leaders or something. Anyway, Din storms in and shoots their guards, and there are some other shots in the snowy location. Other teasers have shown attacks on AT-ATs, and I'm kinda thinking this will be the opening action sequence of the movie. It feels like the start of a James Bond or Indiana Jones movie, or just really any adventure serial in general. We get to see the end of a mission and a big action sequence where Din and Grogu have a victory together and take out a warlord before they return to Adelphi, where they're given their next mission. I assume that's the hunt for Rada, and Din won't be happy about it because Colonel Ward tells him this isn't about revenge, it's about preventing another war. Din has probably been more than satisfied hunting down the Imperials who destroyed his homeworld. Going after a Hutt is probably less in line with his own priorities, but for some reason, Colonel Ward thinks it's important. I bet the Hutts are in league with the Empire somehow. They do have a history of working together. So if the warlords or Grand Admiral Thrawn are offering them power, I think they'd be more than willing to hear them out. Even though they absolutely last parted on terrible terms, with Darth Vader slaughtering most of the Hutt Council. But still, this is new leadership. The twins could be willing to forgive and forget. There are shots of some droids running by launching tubes with fighters flying out. They look like Hutt fighters to me, and I think the planet itself is Nal Hutta. We've seen it before in the Clone Wars, and it's swampy and got these weird-looking plants and forests, and like I said, its moon is Nar Shaddaa. So I'm kind of thinking Din and Grogu head to the smuggler.
Wait, hold on. I want to go back to one thing here, right? Look at the design of this building here. Doesn't that look just like Jabba's lair on Tatooine? So this might just be a standard Hutt design. So I think he's telling the truth on that one there. And it looks like those, I don't know what those ships are, but there's like, I want to know more. I want to know more.
Like Hutt fighters to me, and I think the planet itself is Nal Hutta. We've seen it before in the Clone Wars, and it's swampy and got these weird-looking plants and forests, and like I said, its moon is Nar Shaddaa. So I'm kind of thinking Din and Grogu head to the Smuggler's Moon first, where they visit the fighting pits. We've seen them eating popcorn in there, watching the fights. Maybe being a Mandalorian and having a reputation as a killer gets him pulled into the fights, where he faces off against Rada, who I've got to say does kind of look like his dad Jabba, or at least the weird CGI version of him we saw in the 1997 special editions. We last saw Rada as a Huttlet in the Clone Wars, and I'm so happy people will be able to stop asking me what happened to him. We know Din also fights what appears to be an entire Dedrick board of creatures. I do really like that idea for a gladiator fight. Take every real creature from a holochess board, throw them in a pit, make them all duke it out. At the end of the trailer, we see that the creatures have broken loose of the arena, and the text above the door reads, Weathers Apollo. That's a tribute to Carl Weathers, who played Greef Karga in the series, and Apollo Creed in Rocky. Grogu commandeers a stroller, which is hilarious, and he and Din race through the neon streets. And I love that it seems to be inspired by like the French Connection speeding underneath the elevated trains of New York City. And we've seen something like this before in Tales of the Underworld. Cad Bane grew up in a similar environment. We don't know that these are the same planets, but it is interesting. So I think that whole mess will end up with Din and Grogu captured and sent down to Nal Hutta to meet the twins, and that's where we see Din.
Wait. Weren't the twins part of what was going on in like Mos Espa with the Book of Boba Fett? Right? Wasn't that the last time we saw the twins? So if that's the last, are we gonna get some Boba? Are we gonna get some Boba Fett action? Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, like if they're gonna give us an Avengers style approach, they got to do something.
And have his helmet removed. I am so glad they just put that in the trailer. Prove that Pedro is in this movie and prove that it's not going to be central to like the climax of the film. But I am curious to know how Din will be feeling about this. My biggest issue with season 3 is that he continued to follow the never show your face rule. That season seemed like it was about breaking down the dogma and the divisions between Mandalorians, and I think the ending would have been so much better if he decided those rules didn't make him a better Mandalorian. The final scene could have been Din and Grogu sitting in the sun together at their new home. But Din kept his helmet on, so if it's removed again, what, is he going to go back to the mines of Mandalore? Does he have to bathe in the waters and cleanse himself again? Or this time, will he decide, nah, I'm not going to follow that rule anymore? Again, I'm really glad the helmet will be coming off in this movie, but the whole situation reminds me of like the Razor Crest coming back. It just seems like the overarching narrative of The Mandalorian doesn't quite have a clear vision of what it wants to say with this character and his journey. Din definitely looks mad about it, but I think that's more about him being separated from Grogu by the Hutts, who are threatening them both. I really like that they're going to be pulled apart for some of this story. Again, at the end of The Mandalorian Season 3, Din gets captured, and I was excited for the season finale to have a lot of like Grogu stepping up and having to rescue his dad, but then that's all resolved very quickly with very little struggle. I'm excited by the prospect of Grogu taking charge and growing up. And remember, the Super Bowl spot had Din literally handing the reins to Grogu. We see him meditating by himself and walking through a forest with a stick like Yoda. I think this is still Nal Hutta. It's swampy and green and resembles Dagobah a lot, so it's probably strong in the Force. We also see him talking with a strange creature in a rocking chair that asks if he's scared and tells him he should be. Again, that's similar to Yoda telling Luke he will be scared. That character is reminding me of Yoda's master from Star Wars Legends, Nakata Del Gormo. He was also a snake-like being that has been mentioned in the canon book The Glass Abyss. I am not saying that's Nakata Del Gormo. I just think we're meant to be thinking about Yoda, and Grogu might be getting some new lessons in the Force, so maybe this character is inspired by Yoda's original teacher. Speaking of Dagobah, we see Din facing off with what appears to be an albino dragon snake. Those creatures were on Dagobah, but they were also native to Nal Hutta, as seen in the Clone Wars. But this one lives in the sewer and hasn't seen sunlight for a long time, so I think that's why it's looking so pale. Rewinding a bit, I skipped over a shot of a bounty hunter in the rain. His name is Embo, and he first appeared in the Clone Wars alongside his pet Anuba. I would guess he's sent after Din and Grogu by the Imperial Remnant, or maybe the Hutts. Maybe at first Din decides not to get involved in Ward's mission against the Hutts, but then Embo shows up, tries to kill them both, and that changes his mind. The last few shots I want to bring up involve stormtroopers. First, we've got them fighting Zeb in a hallway. This was in the teaser trailer too, and I can't really place the building interior, but I'm guessing it's on Adelphi. because we also see a stormtrooper transport flipping in some sand and there is some grass nearby. We know Colonel Ward will be hopping in the cockpit, and toy reveals have strongly suggested Carson Teva will be back. I think the movie might end with an Imperial attack on the Adelphi base, giving us some ground and air combat. Maybe it'll be under the command of another Imperial warlord, or maybe it'll be under the orders of Grand Admiral Thrawn. I think it would be good to at least mention the character, since he is the big bad of this era. And if it is him responsible for this attack, then the Adelphi base should be lost. So maybe over the course of Din's adventure, he learns about the attack, he warns his allies, and that allows them to escape rather than be completely destroyed. Like I said, this looks like a lot of fun, and if that's all this movie is, then I will be perfectly happy. But I do hope that there is a stronger, more personal story than there was in The Mandalorian Season 3. I think that season pulled away from the Din and Grogu story and was far more focused on big picture Star Wars-y stuff like the retaking of Mandalore. But their father-son relationship is what made the first 2 seasons really click, while also still being completely mixed up with lots of familiar Star Wars elements. Having Pedro's face in the trailer does make me think that we could be getting back to the things that take The Mandalorian from good to great. So as always, I am optimistic. This isn't the Star Wars story I'm...
All right. So, just say, check out Star Wars Explained. I think he does a good job of breaking it all down. And that was a good video. He seems excited, which is good. That's usually a key indicator for me. I think that, like I said, I think the guy, he's a fan. He's absolutely a fan. Music Man here says, I'm really looking forward to this movie. Damn straight. Rational says, will there be a Jarbo the Hutt cameo in this movie? I don't believe so. No one has contacted me, and no one has asked for me to be in the movie. There you go. Yeah, it would be cool though, right? All of a sudden get that call like, oh, you with a Wookiee. Oh, I can't do it very well. I can't do it very well at all, you guys. Anyway, so I am very excited to see what they bring up with this whole thing. So it's going to be, again, I think you have a fair amount of apathetic cocksuckers that are going to do everything they can to try to be dicks. And I'm definitely going to, do what I can to enjoy it and just leave it at that, because all things considered, I'm glad we're getting another Star Wars. And, there you go. There you fucking go. So, all right. Let's see. What do we got here? Where are we at? Oh, is that, I can't, let me go, hold on. Let me go and bring up the actual YouTube page. Okay. Cause I can't get that from, I can't get the link. Oh, is this the Yoshi thing from, new Yoshi toy to celebrate the new Super Mario movie? Okay, here we go. All right. This is, I guess, Yoshi's toy, on display, from all that. Okay.
Sooner he'll hatch. Push it up out of here. April 1st. Yeah. So then once he hatches, you'll get that Yoshi celebration of him yelling his name. And then he does most of the work, but we gotta help him out of the egg a little bit here. Peel back some of the edges. Then once you get him out of the egg, there's a few ways to interact with Yoshi. You can touch his nose and he'll react. The more you interact with him, the bigger his reactions get.
It's all right. I mean, cool, I guess. I like it's one of those things for me where I think for me, I kind of look at that and I'm just like, it's gonna be a hot toy this time. Sure. If people want it, that's great. I don't like the idea of you pay it, it breaks a shell, and then it just fucking sits there. But then again, I say that as a dad who's like got kids who just get like nothing of toys, you know what I mean? And go from there. So I hope it's pretty good. All right. Here's the one thing I wanted to this just popped up as the next recommended there. I haven't watched this yet. This is the story trailer for the new upcoming 007 game from IOI Interactive, the makers of Hitman, and I'm very pissed off that this game got delayed 2 months. It was going to come out literally the day before my birthday, and then they pushed it back to May. Those sons of bitches.
Rush yourself!
Bond is immature and reckless. He's a bad influence on the other recruits who inexplicably fall victim to his charm.
Look, I know where this is going. Do you mind telling me why I'm here?
I would like you to join His Majesty's Secret Service.
You what?
I know all about your exploits in Iceland.
I strongly believe that there is a need for such heart and intuition in modern spycraft. That's the very reason I'm bringing back the Double O's.
Need I state the obvious? He is not ready.
James, the service is over.
You're a rare breed, Bond. I should be interested to see what you do next.
009 will employ every manner of subterfuge to avoid capture.
Try not to draw attention to yourself.
Me? Housekeeping, I presume?
You seem the kind of guy who knows what he likes.
So you won't do anything stupid?
Of course not. I'm not an idiot.
Agents have very short life expectancy. And if you do get caught, we will deny ever having heard of you. How does that sound?
When do I start?
All right. That looks pretty solid. That looks pretty good. I set up my new computer. I don't have Discord right now. Sorry. Let's see here. Yeah, I guess post it. You're a mod, so you can post it in the chat. I can take a look at it that way. If this game came out on your birthday, it would be 00 Boulder. Yeah, or my gamer tag on Xbox is Jarbo 0069. So I'm excited for this. I very much love James Bond, and IOI is a good developer, and I think we're gonna get some good shit out of it. So let's fucking go, right? Let's fucking go. All right. What are we doing here? So what else is going on? Not really a lot really going on right now, kind of, okay, I gotta take a leak too. So if the Bond game is good, should they do the next film based off the game? I mean, sure, I guess. I have a feeling that the next movie is going to be a reboot, like young Bond sort of thing. It just makes sense because Amazon's going to want to build the franchise that way. How would you feel if this actor translated over to the next Bond? I think I'd be okay with it, but can't say I really dig the hair, I guess. I don't know. But then again, Daniel Craig as Bond was like an odd choice 20 years ago. There was a whole bunch at the time of like blonde Bond is what they called it. They were like talking about that, going like, oh, blonde Bond. What are we going to get out of this? Oh, whatever. And it was fine. We got fucking 5 good movies out of it. Well, I mean, 4 at least. Check DM. You sent me a photo. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Hayden Christensen is the same age as Darth Vader when he died, so they can go back and change the ghost to current Hayden Return of the Jedi. Wouldn't that be nice? But I don't know if they're going to or not. Okay. Let me see. What did HBart send me? So, okay. Thank you for that, HBarts. I appreciate it. Okay. So where are we at there? What is it you're sending over here, Jess? What is this one? Oh, is this the Toy Fair? Hold on.
Hey everybody, this is Matthew here at Toy Fair 2026. I'm in the Hasbro booth checking out Transformers with Shauna. Shauna, how's it going?
It's going really great. Our really big item today is the Matrix of Leadership.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Fans will definitely recognize this, and now you can have your own version. As I pick it up, I can fit my adult fingers in these holes, and I will separate it out. It glows and plays the song.
Oh, here comes the copyright infringement. I can feel it.
Luckily, we did get the rights for 30 seconds.
That's all you really need in that song.
That's all you really need. It does come with about 99 LED lights to make this effect happen. It is battery powered, but there is a port in the back where you can plug it in order for it to continuously light.
Let's take a look. Did we see that port
Absolutely.
over here? Where is that? Oh, there it is, right over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. Wow.
This is going to retail at $124.99, and it is available for pre-order on Monday.
I mean, okay, like that's cool, I guess. What else they got? I don't buy toys. Like, and Transformers doesn't do it for me like this anymore. So it's cool. Okay, that's kind of a cool chibi-eyed Optimus Prime there. But I kind of see what they got. What's this one here?
Lights up, as I like take one of the figures out because they are all interactive. I can go ahead and light Bumblebee up. He's going to start at $54.99. Our big bad down here is going to be at $32.99.
It is nice to have some Transformers for younger kids as well. So we got to get the new generations into this stuff somehow.
There you go.
Overpriced toys is not going to get them into it. You got to show them the show. Let's see. Isn't the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer dropping next week at IGN Fest? Maybe. Is the iconic scene from the movie? Yeah. Okay. Wait, have I ever seen the original Transformers movie? It's entirely possible I never have. It's entirely possible that I never have. Which should be interesting. What else we got?
I'm not a Transformers collector, but sometimes when I come to these events and I see these guys, I'm just like, ooh, I kind of want to start.
Right. They're so intricate.
And right down here, got Astro Train hanging out.
Okay, I know that's meant to be like smoke, but that just looks like goo or like a jizz. It just looks like jizz. All right. Anything else? I don't know. Okay. I don't know, man. Toys aren't my thing. DM me a Star Wars AI. Is it another fucking like 8 episodes or 8-minute long thing? Let's see here. Probably, knowing you. All right. What is this one? Yep, 8 minutes and 2 seconds. Gee, I wonder why. Oh God. I will say I did watch after stream last night. I did watch that God, went to the Skywalker stories and I checked out the Duel of the Fates, that anime. That was actually pretty solid. But hold on here. Wait, oh yeah, did you guys know Sean O'Rourke put out an hour-long video today of him watching Star Wars AI slop, is what he says. I think I've red-pilled him actually on a fair amount of Star Wars. Because he's watching a lot more of the AI content. He might be tearing it apart, but he's watching it. He's engaging with it, which is kind of funny.
I can still feel you.
I know.
What?
I didn't know if you would come.
Neither did I.
Is this like Star Wars Heated Rivalry Edition?
You're free.
Yes. For the first time since I was a boy.
I saw you die. I felt it. I didn't know if there would be anything left.
There almost wasn't. I lived most of my life believing I was already dead. That everything good in me was gone.
But it wasn't.
No. You proved that.
I was afraid. Afraid that saving you meant losing everything else.
You chose compassion over certainty. That is the hardest choice a Jedi can make.
I don't know what it means to be a Jedi anymore.
Neither did we. We just pretended we did.
I wish I could have known you. Before the darkness.
You did. Every time you refused to give up on me. That was the man I used to be.
Then I'll carry that forward.
I gotta say, okay, I like it, but it's like Luke's voice does not sound like Luke. You know, Hayden's voice sounds like Hayden, but that does not sound like even young Mark Hamill. See, this is where, you know, when you're going to do this, right? If you're going to do it and you're going to put this shit out there, you're going to use AI to sync it all up. You got to go and you got to go to 11 Labs and you got to take an old vocal profile of fucking Mark Hamill from Empire, you know, from Return of the Jedi and shit, or fucking some interviews you can find and use that to then sync everything up. You got to dub it, right? You got to put the work in because it's good, even though it's really just, you know, 2 close-up shots talking to one another for, you know, whatever's going to happen for the rest of the episode, right? And then whatever they're going to do. But it's still that whole idea of like, just like, that's all they got to do. Because Hayden sounds pretty good, but Luke does not sound like Luke.
You already are, Luke. And you'll do what I never could.
What's that?
Anal.
Forgive yourself.
Will I see you again?
I will be with you. Always.
Father.
You're quiet.
I spoke to him.
Our father.
Yes.
What did he say?
Not what I expected.
That makes 2 of us.
He was at peace, not proud.
But free?
Yes.
I spent my life fighting a monster. I built a rebellion around stopping him.
I know.
And now I find out he was my father. And I don't know where to put that.
You don't have to forgive him. What he did mattered. What he took from you mattered.
Then why does it still hurt like I lost him?
Because you lost the man he could have been.
Did he ever speak of our mother?
Only in silence.
That sounds like him. So what happens now, Jedi?
Now, we decide what survives.
Good. Because the galaxy is going to need more than legends.
It already has.
I mean, like, the dialogue is kind of weaker this time, but I get it. I mean, it's not bad. It's just weaker dialogue.
Let's go back to the temple.
What do you think he's always doing when he's sitting there?
You're quiet today.
I've been talking all morning.
Teaching again?
Trying to. They look at me like I have all the answers.
And you don't?
No. I just have fewer illusions than they do.
The old Jedi believed certainty was strength.
And doubt was weakness.
That belief destroyed us.
Sometimes I'm afraid they're learning the wrong lessons.
Because of me.
Because of all of it.
What's
They
fascinating
know
is
your name.
the guy who's making this just takes like
They
3
know what you
images and like tells a story about those 3 images.
I haven't told them what it cost you.
They don't need to carry my sins.
But they do need to understand them.
You're not rebuilding the Jedi.
No.
You're correcting them.
Do you ever regret coming back?
Every day. And every day I'm grateful I did. Redemption doesn't erase the past. It just means the past doesn't get the final word.
I still feel you. When I teach them.
Then let them feel me through you.
I worry about attachment.
Of course you do.
The old order forbade it.
And the old order was afraid.
I won't teach them to fear love.
Good. Love didn't destroy me. Fear did.
Sometimes, I wish you were really here.
You don't need me here.
I know. But I like knowing you're watching.
You became everything I was meant to be.
No. I became something else.
They're waiting for you.
They always are.
Huh. Yeah, I don't need to go and like learn about the lightsabers that they're trying to sell. That's where I'm thinking like this has got to be funded by somebody, right? Untold Sabers. You know. Right? 200 and like Jesus Christ, this guy's like fucking pulling it in too. You know, in the last 7 days, look at this here. 1.1 million views, down 20% though. All right. Makes somewhere between $9,000 to $28,000 a month. Average video length 8.7 minutes, which is true. 2 uploads a week. And the guy's just like, you know, they're just, I mean, like, what are they even doing? Like, how are they making this shit? You know, like Star Wars Luke Skywalker encounters Anakin's ghost after Return to the Jedi, right? Like Count Dooku secretly visits Qui-Gon's grave, you know, like a stormtrooper's POV at the Battle of Endor. It's like, how the fuck, like, what are they doing? What is it? How are they making this? This has got to be like, I don't know. Yeah, I know. I caught the line too, Spherical Man. I still feel you inside me. And he like, yeah, I like it when you watch. Like, what? You're putting Anakin in the cuck chair? Like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, what's happening? What's going on? My gosh. Putting him out there in the fucking all that shit. Holy crap. All right. What is it Jess showed me here? What is this one? G.I. Joe's.
All right, so coming to us from Toy News International via the Full Force podcast here. Crossover coming. Turtles and G.I. Joe. These look like kind of legitimate here. So what do we got here? We got Leonardo as Sneak Eyes, Michelangelo as Shipwreck. Go figure, of course, they kind of have the same personalities. Krang as Destro, Shredder as Cobra Commander, Raphael as Roblox, Donatello as Dial Tone. Interesting. Bebop and Rocksteady as Dreadnought. Yeah, they fit that profile. And April O'Neil as Scarlet, and with the Shell Striker and the Turtle Fly Copter. Interesting. Of course, Cobra Commander would be Shredder, right? I'll be honest with you guys as we look here. I like Shipwreck Michelangelo. That looks pretty cool. Daltone Donatello looks really cool. Leonardo looks great. Raphael and cool. They all look great. These are actually pretty cool. Destro looks awesome as Krang, and I like the Scarlet O'Neil one. Cobra Commander, Shredder. I mean, you know what? These are kind of cute figures. Actually, I might grab these, to be quite honest with you. Hopefully, they're not going to be something stupid like a Target exclusive. That'll be ridiculous because that's a pretty big market there with the Turtles and G.I. Joe. So, anyway, check it out right now.
Well, I would say the Target is definitely Turtles. I wouldn't necessarily say G.I. Joe. They're probably paying for the highest subscription tier of Hicksfield, most likely. Hicksfield seems to be the one that would allow it, you know. I mean, well, there's also, what is it? What is the other one there? God. What was the other one that's going on? Kling 3.0, which I think you can get through Hicksfield, right? Does Hicksfield have its own model, or is it all running through the fucking is it all just running through the API? I don't even know. I don't even know. So, who knows? Okay. Okay. Where are we at there? Mattel doesn't make G.I. Joe. I don't know. What was that Merch TV? I don't know who that is. No, this guy here is Sammy's Collectible Toy Haul. Never heard of him, to be honest with you. But all right, guys, I think I'm gonna call it because it's almost midnight. I got to use the restroom and I got to get some other work done. So thank you all for hanging out tonight. Appreciate it. Fun time. I'll be back on probably tomorrow. Then tomorrow off. We can dive in and chit chat about what's going on. The Oscars are coming up, so it's a good time to talk about how mid Sinners is. Right, good acting, story not so much. I think a lot of people out there that glaze Sinners, kind of like people that that kind of like lie about watching movies. You kind of look at them, you're like, what's going on? Like what's happening? Why are you lying? Why are you lying to people? That seems kind of odd. You get their hopes up about in seeing something and you don't actually watch it. It's kind of weird. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Have a good night. Thank you.